Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Braley. The campaign is Spawn of Azathoth. It was written by Doc Herber, and our game master is John Hook, and this episode is 25. Our recap will be given by Stuart Lively as his character Cornelius Cuthbert. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Stuart.
Thank you, Tom. We fled from the Andaman Islands to Calcutta. 2 weeks passed there as we rested and studied. Dr. Long started studying the Book of Iban. He seemed a bit disturbed from his findings, mentioning something of contacting some sort of Azathoth or something. Zeno researched astronomy at the library and noted Francis Wilson checked out a key astronomy book from there. He also found an old reference to a spider god of some sort, Atalaka or something, that was worshipped by some, including those back in the Andaman Islands. Philip wires ahead and telegraphs the proper authorities of Cynthia's untimely demise, skipping some of the more terrible details. Mr. Baxter continues on, though, delving deeper into the madness by creating some sort of scrying glass infused with energies from God knows where. That too seems to take something out of him. I studied from the horrible tomes we've come across as well and found some form of create gate. I wanted to perhaps help us if we ever got into another terrible pinch. Being caught back in the Andaman Islands was an experience I never want to have again. There was something to that spell. I felt it stirring in me, pulling power from all my surroundings. It almost felt good. It started flowing out of me to form what I thought was a gate, but it went horribly wrong. It kept pouring out of me, draining me. My God, what did it do to me? I've aged quite a many years. Dear Lord. Dr. Saladin is showing interest in such magic now. I fear for him. Yes, somehow it even gets worse. Arlo is starting to worry the others. I am starting to worry for Arlo. What is he becoming? Is he in control or is whatever's in his back slowly consuming him? He disappears at night at times and returns somehow satisfied. Edith, she was the smartest of us all by steering clear of such foul tomes and magics, breaking all this madness up for the best, I do believe. Philip Baxter got a telegram from Francis Wilson urging us to northern India. We depart by train for a lengthy journey there. From there, however, we are pressed on to our surprise to Tibet by caravan, across the Himalayas, where Wilson awaits.
Thank you, Cornelius. All right. So when you leave Darjeeling, you're doing so at the northern edge of the town, and you're on what looks like a ranch. You see animals all about, to include a large team of yaks. And there are many, there's like 20 porters who are with you. And these guys help you load up the yaks with all your gear. And they are also acting as guides as you exit the north side of the ranch, where there are no roads. A dirt road led up to the ranch on the south side. But you're exiting on the north side, where it's just some low grasslands leading into the Himalayas that are right there in front of you. And the best that you've seen is a very narrow goat path, and you are following this path as you begin walking in single file up into the Himalayas. You're fully packed with camping gear as well.
Is there, we only have porters and Sherpas, no, Huntley didn't send any Englishmen?
No Englishmen. It's Sherpas and porters and the yaks. And they have instructions to walk you to, I believe it's going to be pronounced Lhasa, which is the capital city of Tibet, which is fairly near, just on the other side of this mountain range.
Walk us.
Walk you.
Like with feet.
Yep.
Like feet.
The
Himalayas.
Yes. Start with the left foot, then follow with the right, and then repeat.
You're walking in the middle, so going up.
You're gonna take the lowest path possible.
This is not the right time to age 20 years.
Probably considered a pilgrimage for a lot of Buddhists, Tibetan monks and stuff.
Do we have an estimate in days of this journey?
Yes, they're looking at 5 days to make this crossing.
So we have tents as well as furs and.
Yes, they have all the camping gear. They provided all the camping gear, this is a pilgrimage road. This goat path.
And so there's probably other people on it too, huh?
There are no other people, no other Westerners. So it's the 6 of you and 20 Sherpas, porters, and about 15 yaks.
Well, Miss Thomas, good things you're from the mountains.
Yes, that's a quite a distance to cover in a short amount of time. We're going to be busy.
And I believe we'll be burning the yak's dung for our campfires.
How aromatic.
Will smell lovely by the end of the journey, I'm sure.
What do you suppose Wilson has that makes him such an authority that Huntley will set us out with all these men and resources to hurry off to Tibet?
He's a military man, yes?
Wilson's an academic.
Oh, I thought he was military.
No, Wilson came. I before my accident, left something to Wilson upon my death that sent him herring off before I was supposedly even in the ground.
While you are journeying through the Himalayas, it is the air is thin and quite cold. I would like everyone to give me a Constitution roll with a penalty die.
Well, my O2 became a 72, so I failed.
My 84 became a 94.
Yes.
Oh.
Made it.
I made it fine.
A 20 became a 50.
Yeah, right there with you, Dr. Arlo.
I got a 0, 0, 0.
Oh, very nice.
I got a 0, 0, 0 on the heels of aging.
You two will be very missed.
Farewell. I can't say the same for Arlo, but I will miss you, Cornelius.
Rented a car.
Through the course of the journey, it becomes clear that some of you are just being overwhelmed by the thin air and the cold temperatures. If you failed your Constitution roll, lose 1d2 hit points unless you fumbled, in which case lose 2 hit points. And then those who fumbled, they are thrown over a yak and are ported by yak for a while.
You're going to say they were thrown over a cliff.
Because this is a pilgrimage road, the camping is not as bad as you were expecting, because yurts have been erected along the way. And there are these waypoints, and you guys are able to stay overnight in these yurts, and it provides pretty good protection from the cold and the wind. But you do spend a great deal of time walking and moving. It's not a leisurely amount of time spent camping. You only stop long enough to bed down and there's the next yurt. It feels like you're walking quite a ways. Dr. Augustine, throughout this journey, the sunlight, and maybe it's just the great reflections off of the snow, the mountain snow, but it's really bothering your eyes, and you find it easier to walk with your cap pulled down low and your feet looking only inches in front of you instead of up and ahead. But it's easy enough to stay following in line like that. On the third day, while you guys are in a ravine, in a narrow gorge, word is passed back from the Sherpas that absolute silence is required through this pass. That this is a very dangerous pass under normal circumstances, but at this particular time of year, it is even more dangerous because of the accumulated snow. And so the Sherpas are going to do what they can to ensure that everyone is silent as they pass through here. So they're moving through this gorge is fairly short on a geographic scale, short. So they're actually taking people and animals in small batches as they go through. So they like pad and silence the bells that are on these yaks so they don't make noise, and the animals themselves are all kind of bundled up so they have almost soundless as they walk. So each of you will be taken individually with an animal and a couple of Sherpas to ensure the silence. So starting with Dr. Saladin, I would like you to make a stealth roll with a bonus die.
01 on my first roll.
Well, then the second roll is not required.
Second roll is a 57.
So you make it through very, very quietly, and there was much rejoicing. Yay! Edith, it's your turn to go through.
Oh no, that's my lowest roll was an 87.
The lowest was an 87.
The lowest was an 87.
I doubt that you have a stealth of
30,
90,
and I don't have the luck to make up the difference.
Okay.
She couldn't help yodeling.
Could not help it. During your trek through this narrow gorge, you do make a sound. What sound do you make?
Let's see. We're moving along, and
and that sneeze echoes up and up, and you can start hearing some rumbling. The Sherpas grab the reins of the yak and start pulling them to the side wall. I need you to give me, let's see, Can't remember if hide exists anymore. Is there? Is a hide skill? It's not.
No.
So let's replace hide with
Dodge.
There's
Dexterity.
Dodge.
give
yeah.
me a dodge test.
Oh, that one I do make. Actually, that's a hard. Yes.
Okay, excellent. So you get off to the side, and there is a very localized avalanche, and you are able to avoid that avalanche, and then continue to move out and away. And the Sherpas that are still with the others who have not made the crossing stress the need for absolute silence. Dr. Long, it's your turn to cross.
My 86 became an 86.
Hey,
All right.
Mom, you need to
What
be
noise
quiet.
do you make?
Well, I probably
This
get
is
distracted
easy.
and I like almost step off and I like startle myself and go, whoa.
All right, make a dodge roll as a ton of snow is falling.
89, remember me.
No.
I don't even have enough luck.
You are luckily only grazed and take only a single point of damage.
Hey, I gotta get lucky somewhere, right?
But the event is harrowing, so roll a sand roll.
Okay, 22 is a pass on that.
Okay, you lose nothing. You're good. All right. So you continue on, and now it is Dr. Augustine's turn.
Okay. Okay. 85.
That was your best
Everybody's
roll.
rolling the same things.
That was my best roll.
86 and
87,
85.
86, 85. Like,
Hey, we're getting better progressively as we do.
Make a dodge.
Yes,
I
my
rolled a 1, so
yes, my 25 dodge. Let's see if I can.
you have luck,
Th-
folks.
35. I will spend the 10 luck to succeed.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So you're able to avoid the damage and get through. It's not as harrowing as if you're able to avoid the damage. It's only if you get hit, then you're like, oh my God, life flashing before my eyes. All right, Cornelius.
Okay. Now with all these avalanches, is there a path left for me to take, or
There is still a path.
okay? All right, here we go. Bonus die. Oh, I make it with a 16 on the first roll.
Very good. Very good. All right, and then bringing up the rear is Myron Dexter, aka Philip Baxter.
I have this theory that if I clench the pipe tightly with my teeth, I can muffle it.
It will
And
definitely
if you
help.
get buried, you can use it as a snorkel.
64 and 19, the narrowest of successes.
Very good. Very good. All right. This was not supposed to be that difficult. I can't believe that many people failed. That's hilarious. Okay. So you spend a few more days traveling through the Himalayas. It's breathtaking, and it literally also takes your breath away because you can't breathe. But you finally kind of feel like you're on the descent as you're coming down from the mountains, and you can see a plane up ahead, and you realize, thank God, Tibet lies ahead. As you
That's a flat plane, not an aeroplane.
correct. You can see a ribbon of a frozen river up ahead. Dr. Augustine,
Yes.
Give me a con roll, please.
71.
Do you have an 80 con?
I have 55, Carl.
I see. Then that would be a failure. Okay.
I could spend the luck because I have the luck, but I'm not going to.
You're not going to. Okay.
Nope.
All
There
right.
goes a yak.
Awesome. So, Dr. Augustine, the daytime has been really bothersome for your vision, for your eyes. There's just a lot of light, almost blinding, so much light. And you find it so much easier to have that knitted cap almost pulled down over your eyes down to your nose, and that knitted cap, the cabling, the knitting, when it's right there against your face, you can actually see through some of the knitting, and you find that level of filtering right in your face is actually doing a very comfortable level of light reduction. It's filtering out the bright lights, so you actually feel like you are more comfortable walking around in the daytime with that wool cap kind of pulled down, so it's right to your nose, so that you're just kind of looking through through that cap. You've also started to notice at night, things are brighter at night. Like, darkness isn't quite as dark, and a lot of illumination is kind of being provided by, I don't know, it looks like people are glowing.
We're going to feast on them all. No, I'm not really.
Okay. So, after 5.5 days of steady walking, you finally are in Tibet, and you see a small village up ahead, a town, a small makings of a town, and the Sherpas, are murmuring and talking, and you guys hear Lhasa. So they keep saying Lhasa, and they seem quite pleased to see this destination, and the animals are kind of being kicked and whipped so that they can trot a little faster to get to Lhasa.
Professor Baxter, do you know where we're supposed to meet your friend?
I assume that Henley's men have instructions about where Wilson's gone.
Is there an embassy up here? I don't know. This is the capital.
It's a capital, yes.
It's not much of a capital.
I think it's magnificent. Just inclement.
All the buildings look handmade out of found materials, like hand planed woods and things like that. And all the buildings are no taller than a single story, so they all seem fairly small. And as you're getting into the town proper, now the goat path has widened out, and you actually see, actual dirt roadways. Although you don't see any yet, you don't see any indication of like automobiles or anything like that. There is a building not too far away with a flagpole outside, and the British Union Jack is flying from that pole. And the Sherpas are leading you towards that building.
I suppose that must be the place. Augustine, have you checked on Cuthbert lately? I want us to all seem in fine fettle when we meet the local authorities.
I need some shelter. I'm dreadfully frozen here.
Yes, I keep an eye on him. I wouldn't let my old frail friend go to waste.
All right, then let's make our introductions and see if we can thaw out and if there's some decent brandy up here.
All right. As you guys approach this building, you can see a plaque outside is declaring it the British Legion. And of course, the Sherpas and everything, they kind of they're vanguarding. They're ahead of you. They get to this building, and so people from the inside of the building are clearly alerted that there's a caravan. There's a group of people here, visitors, and several people start coming out from this building. One of the people is someone most of you recognize. Of course, Miss Thomas and Dr. Augustine have not met this gentleman, but out comes Francis Wilson. He looks a little different than when you last saw him. It seems that he's lost some weight. He seems, it hasn't been that long, but he does seem to have aged a little, not nearly as much as Cuthbert has aged. And he's also dressed in what looks like pretty traditional Tibetan garb. But he comes out and he has a pipe, and he sees the lot of you, and a big grin splits his face as he comes out, arms wide, and he goes, my friends, welcome to Tibet. And he comes in to start giving hugs.
Would you remind me? I've got his name written down, but how do we know him again?
He's the
Professor of Oriental Studies at Brown, who left Baxter's funeral in a hurry after receiving a package.
We've met him before?
At the funeral. You met him at the funeral. He received a special package from the late Philip Baxter, and immediately after Baxter was put into the ground,
he ran off. Yeah.
Baxter's eldest son took him by car to catch a plane, and he was leaving. He was leaving town. He was leaving the country.
No forwarding address. And as he's approaching and he's saying, welcome, it's so good to see you, you now can kind of, your ear picks up the fact that he's speaking in a very distinct British accent. So, Wilson, it's good to see you and all, but let's get inside and thaw out so that we can have our introductions before our toes fall off.
Very good. Come on in. Come on.
Please tell me you have something warm to drink.
Of course.
Ideally, not a yak product.
Oh, no.
The yak dung tea is getting a little.
I thought the crane tea was bad.
Oh, only the finest for you, my friends. Come inside.
Got the flavor from
Anything to treat a little bit of frostbite. I've seemed to kind of.
Yes. What about some black tea?
Black tea here. Oh, yes. I still think I have some crane tea back here. Oh.
I can't believe you hauled that all this way.
Oh, just a
How
few.
about a turkey sandwich?
Some coffee or anything but crane tea.
Oh,
please.
crane tea. I'll have some. Thank you, Cuthbert, my dear friend.
Still a few bags left here.
So perhaps over brandy and some, hot drinks. Wilson, you can explain why you have summoned us.
Why we're at the top of the world.
Yeah, and as you mentioned that, you can see there's a shift to his features as a more serious demeanor comes onto his face, and he's like, "Yes, there are many things to speak of." And he looks around. He says, "But best to do that inside. Please come."
Follow him.
All right. And as you guys are getting inside, the Sherpas and porters are taking care of the animals and getting your gear unpacked. And Wilson says, "We have guest quarters here. The building seems to be kind of sprawling and larger than you were thinking it was." And he says, "We have guest quarters here on site. You are welcome to stay here. And we will have your things brought in and to your rooms. So only the best for our guests. Please come inside." So all your possessions will be taken care of. So you go inside, and you have an opportunity to change into more comfortable clothing, warm clothing. The interior of the building is very warm. Actually, it's well designed to kind of trap the heat in, and so it's quite comfortable once you're indoors. And he leads you all, after you've had a chance to kind of freshen up a bit, and he brings you all to like a den, with comfortable chairs. There's a fireplace, and you've had a warm drink and a little bit of food. And he's kind of gathering everyone together so you guys can talk about your adventures. As you guys are coming in and settling in, Dr. Augustine, when you are freshening up, everyone has their own room. Everyone has a private guest room. Dr. Augustine, as you're freshening up, you get a look at yourself in the mirror, and your eyes are just black orbs. There's no white, there's no pupil, there's no iris. Your eyes are just black mirrors. Do you want to continue to wear the cap even indoors, where it's not as bright and not as uncomfortable? You want to continue to wear the cap over your face and just kind of see through the knitting of the cap? Or do you want everyone to see your beautiful, large black peepers?
No, I will continue. I will wear the cap because, yes, I don't want him to get even more suspicious of the...
Yes, and wearing the cap over your face is not going to draw suspicion at all.
No, but they already think I'm going crazy, so... With the tentacles.
Yep.
So, yes, it can't hurt.
Absolutely. Awesome. I just want to get that clarified. So as you guys are gathering in the den, and everyone's like taking seats and stuff, at one point, Wilson, who's there greeting you guys and saying, "Oh yes, please take a seat, take a seat." Cuthbert, as you're coming in, Wilson kind of grabs your arm and kind of pulls you off to the side a little bit and shield, with his shoulder, he's kind of shielding, so he can have a slightly private conversation in your ear. And he says, "So, good man, what's with your friend, the fellow with the cap over his face?"
Oh, he's not feeling very well. He's suffering from some sort of condition that we're not fully certain of, and When we get back, we were hoping to get him to a doctor.
Well, I certainly hope that he's not contagious.
I don't know if it's contagious or not, but we definitely keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on it.
Well, very good. As long as you feel comfortable, I'm sure everything will be fine. Yes, well.
I'm not necessarily comfortable. I am concerned, but I don't think there's much we can do for him right now, unless you happen to have some hospital here that has a significant amount of research staff.
So we are quite some ways from London, I will say. Even Calcutta.
He does need help, but I think we can't do much for him here. But I don't think it's contagious. None of the rest of us have anything near what he seems to be suffering from.
All right, very good. That's good to hear. All right, excellent. Then please have a seat.
Oh, thank you.
So once everyone is seated and present, he welcomes you and says, "My friends, thank you for making this journey. It is of the most dire importance that we defeat and confront and defeat the terrible threats that befall us."
Well, what is the threat so far? We know there seems to be some sort of comet.
Yes, I've been doing my own investigations, and so you can see that he's brought a manila envelope with him. His manila envelope that he got at the funeral was not nearly as thick as the document packet that you guys received. His was quite thin, but he says, poor Philip, God rest his soul. He seemed to be discovering something threatening this world, some kind of force in the form of a comet coming for us, and he sensed this in his dreams, and so he asked me to check it out, and so I've done just that. My investigations took me to Russia, and I was able to smuggle out a document that I think you might find interesting.
Did Baxter's notes send you directly to Russia, or was that something that your own research led to?
I received the tip from Baxter to go to Russia. Here, please take a look at this diary entry that I discovered.
December 2nd, 1916. I write and leave behind me this note in Petrograd. I shall leave life before the new year, my task unfinished. I was visited last night in a vision by the strange, pale savage who acknowledged my power and did not mock me. Ibon's savage is very wise, and he showed me many things to come. I saw also my own death, although the details were unclear. I have warned the Tsarina and have sent her my crucifix set with sacred stones given to me by Zakai. Is this Philip Baxter's handwriting?
No. This is Rasputin the Mad.
Aye. Well, no wonder the details of his death were unclear. It was a complicated affair. So, Wilson, you believe this is authentically a document left behind by Rasputin?
I do. I also believe that there is a ghost. I've seen Rasputin also mentioned him as the father ghost. He believes that he is some kind of agent of Ibon's. This is difficult to believe, but there are other realms of reality. There's one that is created by our dreams, and it is possible to visit this reality. And there are, even more layers of research available from there, which I have tried to ascertain and put together, but that realm is becoming more and more unstable.
No need to try to convince us of that.
No, indeed. The only person here who, two of us have not been to the Dreamlands in this party. But in the materials that Baxter left you, he did not include instructions for making the elixir that allows one access to the Dreamlands.
No, that was something I had to discover in Rasputin's notes, and it took me quite a while to try and concoct the brew, but after several failed attempts, I was finally successful. And yes, this has been a very long and difficult journey, as I know that you have been scouring the globe, and it seems that Philip, in his final wishes, implored you to as well make this journey, and so I am glad to have the company.
Yes, well, Philip, do you know how he met his end ultimately?
Ultimately, it was his heart, I believe. It just simply gave out.
No, it turns out that Silas was a cannibal.
Good heavens!
Yeah. He's in a madhouse, as far as we know. We found him hiding out north of town in a rather rustic farmhouse where he was consuming the living brains of primates. Before he did that, he had an arrangement with an undertaker in Providence. My heart attack appears to have been faked somehow. I mean, Philip's.
That's utter madness. Oh.
Yes, only the beginning, I'm afraid. We have been studying this celestial entity and calling it Nemesis, and you call the same thing Azathoth. Do you know what the relationship is?
It seems that this Nemesis is but a fragment of this entity known as Azathoth, and that it is a world-ending event, but it is possible through certain magics to divert this Nemesis.
Yes, we certainly hope so.
I lean back and over towards Dr. Long and just whisper, Dr. Long, didn't you say something about reading something about a contact Azathoth or Azathoth in your reading?
No, Zathakwa.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, learning that this comet is an entity makes sense in an odd sort of way. Comets have predictable motions. dictated by gravity. This thing changes direction, and its changes in velocity make it more like a living thing than a celestial body.
Such a creature coming to Earth would be catastrophic if it's so vast in size.
Yes. And Wilson, do you know Nemesis coming here is a world-ending event, but this Azathoth of which you speak, do you know? You say it's an entity. I've had the personal unpleasantries of dealing with entities in the wrong way. What is the nature of this particular one?
Well, the nature is just simply malevolence. I believe it was the scholar known as Ibon who predicted that this starfall would destroy our Earth, and according to Rasputin's notes, that it's this father ghost is some kind of agent who may be looking to fulfill the dark prophecy that Ibon predicted. I think it would be important to stop this savage, if possible. For as we strive to divert and prevent Nemesis from falling, I believe that the Father Ghost is going to assist and direct it, if at all possible. According to my notes, and Wilson kind of gets a little agitated, and he starts dumping things out on the table, one of which is a map, and he kind of starts smoothing it out, and he says, according to my notes, I believe that Nemesis is going to be falling here, and he stabs his finger onto the map, and it looks to be about 300 miles north of your present location, out in just this valley, this vast plain north of you, and he's like repeatedly tapping on the map, and he says, this place here, the locals call it Lang, and it is believed that that Nemesis will be falling here, according to the myth and legends, that there is a temple there that you can use the and focus the energies through that temple, and you should be able to divert Nemesis. Although, as you can see from Rasputin's diary note, it mentions the crucifix. I have been unable to locate that crucifix, though. Please, have your journeys been more fruitful?
Well, we were just texting back and forth. We seem to recall finding a jeweled crucifix back at the observatory, but we don't remember what the hell we did with it, or if we just left it there.
No, because metagaming. Dr. Saladin, you guys were getting ready to leave, and Saladin, you had this urge come over you. Something was pushing you and drawing you to go back into the building and search through. I forgot the name of one of the Russians' packs, but you went through his personal belongings and then came across that jeweled crucifix. And when you found it and you were gripping it, there was something satisfying about it, and you knew from your encounter in the Dreamlands that you had that wish, and so it was kind of being satisfied.
It's been in my pocket all this time.
Been in your pocket this whole time.
Oh, something's poking my leg. Oh, is this it?
and if when you pull it out, Wilson seems to have this wash of relief, and you can see he kind of stumbles and falls back into a chair, and he starts to look pained, and he's like, Oh, it's so difficult. And he reaches down and he starts pulling up his pant leg, his right pant leg, up to past his knee. And you can see that from the knee down, his leg is made of wood. And he twists and you hear a crack as he unlocks his leg and he removes his false leg. And he's like, my friends, I have waited and I've needed your help. The journey is something that I cannot make. I need you to make this journey. Go to Lang, find the temple, and you must divert Nemesis.
300 more miles. Huh?
Is there? I'm confused by the removal of the leg. Was he stashing something in the hollow bit?
No, it was
just indicating that his journey is at an end.
His journey's at an end, and he's finally relieved that the crucifix has been discovered, and thankfully it is in good hands. And he has now passed on the information that he knows and paired it with you, and he feels like he can finally come to an end. He's like, truth be told, I am a member of the British intelligence agency, and I have been working undercover. Information took me to Providence, and I was posing as a professor in order to try and gain any information I could. Our intelligence was telling us that Philip Baxter was one to watch, that he was gaining information, and in the process I gained a friend, but my duty forced me to return and complete my mission. And now I can finally lay down that burden.
Well, I hope at least you can get carried over the mountain back to Calcutta, where your retirement will be a great deal more comfortable.
Yes, I will leave with the next caravan and head back south. I have one more crossing ahead of me.
Sorry, question for the keeper. Having known him before this point, was the wooden leg new?
Yeah. Yes. So when he was in Providence, he had 2 legs.
Good heavens, man! What happened to your leg?
In my escape from Russia, I was heavily injured, and the infection was taking over, and the doctors had no choice but to take my leg.
So sorry, Wilson.
Oh, of all people, Cuthbert. Tell me this, Francis, if I may. Do you know any more than this letter contains about this pale savage, or how he can be combated?
I have only seen him once myself, and that was at a great distance.
We have
seen him.
We have met him in the library in Ulthar. We met him in the mountains of Montana.
Where the meteorite fell.
Yeah. He mocks us and interferes with us everywhere we go. And if he is, I was uncertain as to whether he was a harbinger of Nemesis or perhaps an ally that we had not yet met. It sounds as though he will need to be defeated.
He may have been observing you as well to discover on what side of Nemesis were you going to lay, either allied with it or against it.
Why would anyone be allied with a place that wanted to destroy its own world?
They believe that the world will be made anew again, and only the faithful will survive the cataclysm.
What is your position with this?
It's madness. If Nemesis falls, the world will be destroyed. There will be no survivors.
I share that belief. This needs to stop. It needs to be diverted. Do we have enough? Do you have enough equipment and supplies for us here to make such a journey?
Oh yes, we will supply you with more Sherpas, yaks, and I have a guide for you. His name is La Brazing. La Brazing, and he will guide you to Lang and help you find the temple if it exists.
Has anyone living been to Lang?
No one here has been to Lang, so this will be an exploration journey for you all.
Lang sounds. Is there any more known of such a place?
Other than it is rumored to be quite inhospitable.
That is rather vague. Inhospitable in what meant?
Yes, it's a tundra.
Weather?
It's a tundra that is quite inhospitable.
Okay.
We've been to bizarre evil temples before, so
Yeah, didn't always work out so well.
and now we've got this to save us.
Those texts that you all have been studying, they do not mention this Lang place.
Yes, I read about Lang when we were back in Darjeeling, was it, at the library? A place of the old ones, the ancient ones, whatever. Just a really scary place, they consider it. But of course, you think, we're talking about the people who live, the indigenous people up here in the mountains. They have all sorts of superstitions, but maybe
We need to have a clear idea of what to do in getting there. So we get there, what is it exactly that we need to do?
as with most of this, apparently I'm supposed to know what we're supposed to do, but at the moment it's just getting this there. Maybe there's something in the jewels on it that
Maybe realign some beacon or something that's attracting this thing here. It's odd that he seems to know how and where this great comet might land, especially being, as you mentioned, Dr. Long, it's not following a singular particular trajectory. It's moving about randomly.
Well,
so how do we know where it's going to land?
Well, it's not a comet, but I suppose there are magical means that lets one divine potential future events.
It is the
much you've
habit of
changed.
prophets.
how much you've changed, Dr. Wong, since we started this journey together.
I've seen enough to fill a lifetime.
An extra 20 years, one might say.
Dear God.
So, doomed or not doomed, I think that we need to find our way there, and somehow we might be able to stop it. The very fact that we're involved might be the thing that stops. Do we stop this grandfather ghost or father ghost, or is he...
And Wilson, you understand that the father ghost is the same figure as the pale savage?
Yes.
Now, I believe we've only interacted with this creature on a handful of occasions. Once we saw him in the library, and he left behind a useful text as he tore off and then vanished. He left it not, on a shelf, not...
Yes, he left. I pursued him and we got the Catha Aquadonin from him that led us to Yibzithil.
The those of you who have been reading the Book of Ibon, is the Book of Ibon telling you what Ibon was trying to accomplish? And do you think the ghost or the father spirit is Ibon or his ghost?
I believe your understanding, Wilson, is that Ibon, the prophet, was attempting to help us to protect ourselves from
this thing.
The Ibon prophet was predicting the cataclysm, and the ghost seems to be aligned with Ibon and is wanting to facilitate and bring that cataclysm to an end, so that those who worshipped Ibon and those beliefs, they will supposedly be the survivors in the new world. But that's madness. So that way lies
is
madness.
Trying to destroy our world.
It's trying to destroy the world.
So Ibon predicted it not to prevent it, but in a worshipful sense.
Yes.
To herald it, the herald of Azathoth. And he was in the mountains, the observatory, because of the fragment.
Mm.
And didn't he attack Zeb there? Or threaten him?
Don't remember that.
No, he threatened Zeb in Zebedee and Ulthar.
He threatened Zebedee in the market in Ulthar. Right. And we only saw him in the woods.
Yes, I remember Mr. Cordova was extremely disturbed by the appearance of that man.
Yes, I saw him in the Montana woods.
He had a bone-handled knife.
Yeah.
How could we forget such a fine, striking, and important detail as a bone-handled knife?
Wasn't there a whole priesthood that was like that?
Oh, no, the people aligned with Yib-Sithil.
Yeah.
So perhaps those in league with Yib-Sithil are aligned with those who want Nemesis to come. Perhaps Yib-Sithil is aligned with this Azathoth?
Well, wouldn't all the gods be aligned in some way? Since I don't see how you could have rival gods. It makes no sense.
He worked for the Indian pantheon, the Greek pantheon, the Roman pantheon.
Yeah, but they weren't really
Viking
gods.
pantheon.
We're talking about something that's real in this case. I mean, otherwise it's not really a god, is it?
I think you've changed quite a lot too, Saladin. Of course,
Apparently I'm
perhaps.
about to adopt Christianity as my religion.
Well, the crystalline nature of the jewels thereon might be a more chemical, alchemical, or physical component.
Could be the shape. Crosses have actually been magical items since prehistoric times. The coming together of two. I'm not sure that we have to understand it.
They were also used by those people of the Andaman Islands who tried to sacrifice us to a spider. So,
I think I just remembered something else. I think that Lang is also the place of the spiders.
Oh.
Certainly Cynthia Baxter, or what was Cynthia Baxter, was excited about the coming of Nemesis. Francis, do you know anything else about the Baxter children?
I do not.
Emma took you to the airport.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and I've met Emmett and I forgot the other son. I met the other son once briefly, but never met the daughter.
Yeah, so you don't get a chance to now, I'm afraid.
Oh no.
No. Among the many peoples or tribes or what you have in these parts, there's nothing called anything like Cho-Cho, are there?
That does not seem familiar, no.
Well, Baxter's daughter, Cynthia, went off to the Pacific Islands to do good, fell in with a tribe of Chocha people, and her mission came to a violent end. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that.
She welcomed the coming of Nemesis at the end of her life, as do those people.
Yes, those are the deluded people. That's very sad. Very, very sad indeed. Let me take this opportunity to introduce La Zhang. I'm going to call him La Zhang instead of Brazing. I think I might be pronouncing it. So we'll say La Zhang. Let me introduce La Zhang. He will be your guide. And he goes and he brings in a Tibetan man. And he seems to be in his probably late 50s or early 60s, and he seems very seasoned. And he comes in and sees you all and nods and says, and he has pretty good English, and he says, "It would be my pleasure to guide you as we look together to try and discover laying in this monastery, this temple."
Lazang, Wilson, what's the provenance of this map? Do we know who made it?
It's a commercial map that Francis has been drawing on,
annotating. So it's something probably aerial.
Yeah,
not a lot of specifics. Right.
And I was saying, are you our guide because you've been into that area before?
I am native to this area, and I speak your language, and so it was only logical that I be your guide.
Are there any dangerous tribes or anything on the way there that we need to be prepared for?
The weather should be the most dangerous thing that we encounter, but there are some Chinese patrols that could be out there. We should be careful of them. They may want to try and question us or detain us. So it would be a good idea to avoid any of the Chinese military patrols.
And have you ever heard of the Chocho?
He stops and thinks, and he says, "Yes, I have heard of that tribe, but they're nowhere near here. Nowhere near here. I believe that tribe exists to the east. We will thankfully be heading north."
Thankfully.
Wilson, do you have some sort of title in your hidden capacity? Are you a colonel or some such? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, just intelligence officer.
Lazeng, has Officer Wilson told you that there are likely on this journey to be dangers that are not weather, animal, or unfriendly civilians?
He has warned me that there could be many, many dangers, but Tibet is quite experienced with dangers and hazards, and Tibetans are well suited for the task. We are a hardy people.
Yes, I wish that we could all say the same, actually. When are we set to depart? We should stay here and fatten up for a few days, I imagine, and rest our weary bones.
Yes, you've just come from a very long journey, so we will stay and leave in another 5 days. Plenty of time for you to rest. And you too, grandfather, you should get much rest as he goes to compliment Cuthbert.
Not that old. You feel like it, though. All right. Just point me in the direction of a nice bourbon and a bed.
They say, very good, very good. Please come this way. And you guys, again, go back to your rooms and you're able to rest and relax for several days. Is anyone injured?
Yes, I'm missing 2 hit points.
Okay. In the time that it takes for you guys to rest before you go on your journey, you will be fully healed as long as you're only down by 2 or 3 points. Anybody else beyond 2 or 3 points?
Just one here.
Okay.
I'm looking to run into Augustine alone in a hallway or there's
plenty of time for that.
Yeah. Is he wearing a knit cap over the upper part of his face?
Is he? Apparently so.
Yes.
Forgive the intrusion. After all, I am a hitchhiker and a dead man's body myself. It seems as though the journey since we escaped the Andaman Islands has treated you ill. And you, I understand that you and Cuthbert are friends, and he is loath to interfere with you. But I think if we're about to go on a perilous journey, we should understand exactly what each of our foibles are. And we haven't seen your face since the mountain pass. What's going on with you?
I am perfectly fine. My dear friend, I am going through my own things. I would rather not trouble you all. I'm no harm to anyone. I am just going for my own.
It interests me personally in that you are professionally in psychology, that you should think that repeating the phrase, I'm no harm to anyone, would be a comfort to anyone. On the contrary, the very idea that when we have not suggested that you're a danger, that you are comforting us, that you are not, is a cause for concern.
Yes.
Can I look you in the eye and have this conversation?
No, you cannot.
Do you feel like you might, since you're going through a thing, as you say, might you be better off resting here in this comfortable circumstance rather than making a dangerous journey across a frozen plain?
No, I need to make this journey. I need to prove that I am so strong enough.
Again,
I have many journeys to be had, Professor.
As a professional psychologist, you think that undertaking a life and death journey on which perhaps thousands or millions of other lives depend is something you should do to prove yourself?
I think my time as a psychologist is over, my dear friend.
Well, on that front, yes, I think it would be very hard to practice wearing that cap.
It would be very hard to practice anymore. I've become something else entirely now. Someone else.
Someone or more than one?
Someone.
But not Arlo Augustine III.
Oh, I am Arlo Augustine III, but a new Arlo Augustine III. Maybe I could become. It would make no sense because that would be my that would be my child's name. But I could be the fourth now.
Philip Baxter, you can give me a spot hidden, please.
Yeah. Can I give you a spot creepy? 58 is only a regular spot hidden.
Okay. You are now noticing in in just little patches. So, maybe on the neck, just kind of below the ear, and maybe at the, on the elbow, or maybe right at the wrist. You're starting to see just little patches of his skin is seeming pretty dry. It looks brittle and patchy, maybe even a little bit scabbous, similar to like a psoriasis kind of thing. But it's just right now, just kind of starting, and it's really difficult to notice because even though the texture is different, it doesn't look like it's a soft, pliable skin like you might see, anywhere. Those areas are looking drier and like I said, a little cracked and a little bit scabby. The coloring is still uniform, so it blends in really well. So it's difficult to see, but it looks like he's getting a little bit of a skin irritation in certain areas.
And the facilities here, of course, are quite primitive. There's not a sauna. There's probably barely like a bucket of warm water for a sponge bath kind of thing.
I mean, the British Legion building has better facilities that you assume don't exist outside of this building. But even then, it's like it's a communal shower room and things like that. And the temperature is probably only just a little bit above lukewarm.
Yeah, and we haven't, of course, nobody's seen Augustine in the communal shower room.
No.
Obvious reasons.
Yes.
Well, Augustine, thank you for talking to me. I wish you felt you could be more direct. We are, after all, people who've been through a lot together and should have no secrets. But rest up. It's going to be a difficult journey.
My issue here is if I show you if I show you, you'll no, I can't. No, I must be off now. I must go and rest.
Yeah. So he's off to rest, and it's time for the big group meeting about what to do with Brother Arlo.
He will not be resting. No, he will probably barely sleep. I'll wink.
He's going to go have some Tibetan food. Or just Tibetan.
I don't know about the rest of you folks, but I'm quite concerned with Dr. Augustine's changes of late.
I don't trust him. I don't like the look of him anymore. He's just got an odd nature about him now. He seems so friendly.
And he wouldn't let you give him a sponge bath, huh?
He wouldn't let me see his face, more to the point.
Because he's wearing that odd hat everywhere. That's so...
Yeah. There's something wrong with the skin that I can see, and there's certainly something wrong with the skin we can't see.
When we were on the Andaman Islands and we fought off the spider lady, Arlo was fighting along beside us.
Can we call her Cynthia, please?
Yeah, Cynthia. Spider Cynthia. Arlo was fighting alongside of us, and granted, he's growing some sort of bizarre appendages, but he hasn't done anything against us in any way.
You remember those things. They drank Cuthbert's blood.
I forgot about that. I don't think
he wouldn't hesitate to do the same again. I'm quite sure.
I think that Augustine might have hesitated, but I don't think that the condition he's in now, he'll be able to prevent it.
Well, do we
are those things
confront
sentient? Do they need feeding? What
And
if
at
they
what
come
point did
after
he
us
get infected?
next?
I don't think he's always been like this. Something happened to him along the way.
Those things seem to function when he is unconscious. And at the minute, we're concerned about things that are against Nemesis and things that are for Nemesis. If whatever he is becoming decides that Nemesis coming is beneficial to its progress and that the destruction of all of humanity beneficial, then that presents a problem.
Could he have something to do with Nemesis? Was he like this before Montana? Was he exposed to something?
Not that I'm aware of.
In the islands, he fought with the Chocho and the Spider Cynthia with those limbs.
And they seem to know about it because remember they had him strung up.
Yeah, they'd pulled them off, stretched them out. But they might not be intelligent. They might just be parasites.
Reactive.
Parasites that get very hungry in the cold northern plains.
Well, there's not going to be much food.
On the way to Lhasa, no animals went mysteriously to sleep that did not wake up. There were no yak deaths.
Nope. No, none of the yaks were killed.
All right. So here's what I would think. We can't just go with him not knowing because we don't know what's up, right?
We need to know.
We need to know we need to have a confrontation with him. Almost like you hem-hawed around it.
I've got an idea.
I think we need to have a direct confrontation, but we need to be armed and we need to be able to offer him something. If he has to eat something, we all have to eat something. We just bring along whatever it is. If he needs rats or monkeys or something.
Orphans.
Just not us. Just not us.
Or
Sherpas.
Perhaps
we don't want him to eat Sherpas, but we could bring an extra cow along for him to eat. We eat cows. I don't think they eat cows in India, but
or perhaps we can find an additional trusty companion to bring with us to Lane.
We could bring a lot of caravans bring livestock along. We could bring chickens or
right.
Yes, I suspect that our bearers might be uncomfortable if there's an extra handful of goats that we feed live to one of our own by his tentacles.
Be careful. Yeah.
Oh, we could do it in a tent or something like that. We could take care of Arlo. Arlo's still my friend. He's sick with something and he needs help. But you're right. We need to confront him.
His whole manner of behavior has changed.
Have you been able to look him in the eye, Cuthbert?
A while ago, but before we went to the Andaman Islands, he had I wasn't going to mention it. It was more of a private issue, but I believe he's had this for quite some time, and it's getting worse.
It almost sounds like it's taking control of him. Didn't you, Professor Baxter? Didn't he say something to you about how he's no longer Arlo or something to that effect?
He described himself as a new Arlo, or
what is that?
Nothing. It's he's either mad or this parasite is affecting him.
Aren't there parasites that affect the brain and things like that, change your functioning?
There are fungus that impact insects that completely take them over.
But we've not seen him do anything against us. I mean, except nibbling on Cuthbert.
It's a very interesting exception you make there, Xena.
Well, I'm just thinking, he's our friend. He's been with us.
He may be our friend.
If he's not our friend, we'll shoot him.
This from Montana. Our friend from the beginning was Zeb that he put away. Who knows where? He might be in a meat locker right now. Although I don't think so. I think this is getting worse, but he hasn't always been, and he might not be.
I think
a
this
danger.
happened. Was he with us in the Dreamlands?
No. I
Zeb
got
was.
when I chatted with Arlo earlier, I got the distinct impression that when I mentioned that the growths within him seemed to be unnatural and unholy, they seemed to almost take offense to that statement. Really concerned me.
It's the secrecy. It's the fact that he is hiding it so much. That is really what concerns me.
Right.
You say he's our friend, but he doesn't. He's hiding.
If we confront him, then we'll know one way or the other. Don't you think?
Well, we can. Forewarned is forearmed. In the leather case there, I have a small hand mirror that allows me to look at things that aren't present. It came up a bit in Calcutta. I had a more successful experiment than Cuthbert's. It doesn't allow me to travel anywhere, just see things. I can make an attempt when we believe Augustine to be shot in his private cell here tonight, to watch him and see where he goes and how he behaves and how many of them there are.
I'm just thinking that we're waiting too long. Let's just ask him. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is he's just going to suddenly turn into a monster and we'll kill him. We'll shoot him. But if he doesn't...
Yes, that would be bad. That's an undesirable outcome.
But it's much worse if we sit around and wait and not know, and keep waiting.
It might put him at ease. He seems to be in fear of letting us know for what we might do. But if we could force the hand and he could see that we'd be willing to work with him on some level, this might be the best. Zeno, I think you've got a good point.
So this evening we have dinner. We have tea of various kinds. We all bring firearms. Not
find someplace private.
I assume worn openly. And then we say, damn it, Augustine, take your hat off or we will.
We know that you're something. You're not hiding it from us very well. And it's okay as long as you're on our side.
There is more in your philosophy, Saladin, than I understand. But if you would rather be direct about it, that certainly is...
I think if we had a spy in our midst, it would be much better to confront the spy than to let the spy keep going and pretend like because you get a knife in the back.
At this point, I don't trust going out into uncharted wilderness with the man.
Well, we don't have to go far. There's not, I mean, this whole area, just go over in that field over there. And
we're not going to do it outside. I'm not going to do anything outside. I think he just meant he didn't want to take the trip to Leng with him until the matter was resolved.
Yes, that is what I mean.
All right, until dinner then. Okay. If you're a praying type, I suggest praying.
Apparently I am now.
So, dinner, then tea and guns.
Hopefully he's not listening to all of what we just said so that he can't prepare for what to do.
Okay, hold on just for a sec.
Oh, the seven-armed monster.
Okay, so you guys want to have an intervention with Arlo at dinner?
Well, when there's nobody else around.
Sure, which seems very possible. Yeah, easy for you guys to have a dinner and then kind of hang around Well, and then when everyone else clears out, it'll just be the 6 of you. Okay.
Do we see Arlo eat?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Arlo eats. He doesn't eat a lot, but he picks at his food. Yeah. If there's a protein, the bloodier the protein, the better, but yeah, he picks at his food. So you guys are now in the cafeteria alone. It's just the 6 of you.
Well, it should come as no surprise to you, Augustine, that the conversation we had this afternoon did not entirely arrest my concerns about your being travel ready.
You're just going to keep eating? Well, picking out the food.
I think we'd all feel much more at ease if you could look each of us in the eye and tell us that you were a member of our team and ready to brave the plateau of Leng as one of us.
I'm going to be honest with you, all right now. The main reason I am not showing you my eyes is because I do not know what you looking into my eyes will do to you. I am hiding my eyes for your safety, okay?
Well, we've known for a while now that something is happening to you. And all that we're concerned with is that you're on our side and you're not going to eat us in the middle of the night.
Why would I eat you? I felt bad when I had on Cuthbert. I didn't want that to happen.
We don't know. If as long as you're keeping this big secret, we don't know.
I don't need to tell you much about it.
Then you can't go with us.
Yes, but you all know it's no real secret. You know that the things going on with me, but I don't even know what they are. So
Well,
how can I tell you?
We need to know what the extent is so far. And
you want to know the extent. You want to know the extent, is it, Zena? And he takes off his shirt and shows them all his back.
So down the sides of his spine is a flap of skin. And then from that flap of skin on either side of his spine, you can see some of the tentacles, of which there are numerous ones, thin tentacles. They just kind of come out all up and down the spine, and they kind of peeking out of the flap a little bit, but then they recede a little bit.
How long? Were you born this way?
No. Sometime after the war.
And since he's taken his shirt off, you can also see, like, on his rib cage, he's got areas of really dry, almost scabby skin, and some of those scabs have come off either through just the abrasive action of putting and removing clothing or something, but some of that abrasive or some of that patches have flaked off, and you can see there's a strange mottled skin tone underneath that's kind of revealed from that those scabs that have come off.
So a question for the keeper and perhaps for Arlo. From the last time I saw it several episodes ago, has this noticeably spread, or
Yes.
does it look just the same? Okay,
No,
so
it's more extensive now.
So Arlo, dear friend, this is growing. You have to know that this is replacing so much of your former human self.
Yes, I know, Cuthbert. I know I am probably dying. No,
Do you have any idea how this has started? Did somebody put a curse on you?
Well, Cuthbert remembers the war very well. It might have happened during, or it might have happened after. But there are some hazy moments from my memory that I don't even remember. I missed the birth of one of my children, and I can't even remember why. Yes.
How do you feel mentally? I mean, other than concern over what's happening to you,
I've come to learn. I've been trying to control these things, and I've become more free in my mind, knowing that I am probably doomed to die at some point, sooner rather than later.
Do you look at the changes you're undergoing, or do you ignore them?
No, I look at them. I monitor them. I make notes on them.
So the areas that are being revealed, you have sensation there?
Yes.
It doesn't seem so much that you were dying then, as that you were being transformed. But is it the human that's dying and the non-human?
I would assume so. Whatever. I don't know what awoke whatever is going on within me, but I am no threat to you all. Well, if I was, I would have done it a long while ago.
Then here's a couple of questions. One is, you look very conspicuous with your face covered. Is there something wrong with your eyes? Have they changed in some way?
They are black. Pure black.
That's rather conspicuous. We could find some sunglasses or something.
In this part of the world, everyone needs eye protection.
Well, yes, yeah, from the sun glare. I mean, the snow glare.
Do you feel any sort of dietary change? Maybe if you were to come with us on this journey, should we prepare certain food for you that might be different than what's appetizing to us?
Well, as much as I hated me personally hated doing it, I was feasting on some of the alley cats. Well, they were anyway. Just small. Yes. It's not my doing. It's they feast on.
See, this is part of my concern, Arlo. You're saying you are not a threat to us, and I believe that it is what you are becoming. It is what's taking over. It is these things that have latched onto you, doing us harm, that I'm concerned about.
Feels like a curse. Seems like a curse.
Which is why I am in control. I want to get this journey over and done with, because if there's something I can do before I lose control, I will do it, even if it means sacrificing my life for you all. But I'd rather get this over and done with. And if it comes to it, I did tell Cuthbert to put a bullet in my head a long while ago.
Chickens. Can you eat raw chickens?
I would assume so, yes.
Seems like it would be more useful to eat lichen as we're traveling over barren landscape. I appreciate that you wish to end it before they take control, but what if they don't give you advance warning?
That's why, as per duty, I did tell Cuthbert to keep an eye on me.
Cuthbert is a frailer man than he was a fortnight ago. and loves you like a brother, maybe you should have approached someone who would be less sentimental about it.
Yes, but me and Cuthbert go way back, and I know Edith looks at me with disgust.
I think if you turn into a monster, we'll kill you. We have to have some risk in this case.
Well, yes, I don't expect you to let me murder you all if I turned into it.
But if you wear a hat and some sunglasses, if we can find it, and your regular clothes, I don't think you look any different than the rest of us. As long as you're covered up, heavy coat, nobody will notice. And who knows? I mean, you fought off some of those spiders with your appendages. Maybe they'll come in handy.
Exactly, that is why. I have also been trying to learn how to. I have been able to get them to move with some of my movements and move with some of my thoughts. So.
And maybe it's a curse. Maybe we'll find a way to remove the curse.
Well,
does this scare you at all?
No, it does. See, the thing is, I've had this for such a long time, and it's only since we started this journey that it's gotten worse.
Well, that's another matter that concerns me, you see. This was lying dormant in you. Sorry, Ms. Thomas? I can't hear you. Speak up.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I was agreeing with you, Professor Baxter. I was about to express the same sentiment. If this has been lying dormant in you, so be it. But all of this business with Nemesis and such seems to have awakened it.
Perhaps
that's concerning.
Perhaps its approach is calling to it in a way.
Perhaps the Pale Savage and your extra parts are part of the same welcoming committee.
I don't know.
How do we know when things get ugly? I fear that things will be out of your control, Dr. Augustine. You don't disgust me. You frighten me terribly.
But logically, you could say the opposite as well. The very fact that somehow we've been gathered together and sent to stop this thing, so has he. So maybe he's supposed to be there.
You could explain, I assume, that error in Dr. Saladin's thinking. This magical notion that if only we gather all the right party together, we can make it to the Emerald Island or whatever it's called.
Right.
Yes,
it's all chance. There's no great fate drawing us together. And if there's anything, I have not seen the Pale Savage with us since Arlo joined our midst. Perhaps he no longer needs to keep such close personal tabs on us anymore.
He's a ghost. He doesn't even need to appear to us in order to do it.
I feel whatever's going on with me, I feel it is against what is going on.
Dr. Augustine, will you accept a vote? Those of us who vote for you to come with us and those of us who vote for you to stay, would you accept the outcome?
I would, but it wouldn't stop me from treachering out alone.
Well, I vote to have you stay with us. We'll make contingencies of some sort. And I'll shoot you or stab you if you actually do anything dangerous.
I think we knew where you stand.
I just want to see this through to the end.
I fear that I must vote in the negative. I fear that whatever convictions you may have may be lost as these things increase their takeover of your body.
Fear the same.
Let me ask you this, Augustine. When did the appendages, when did they last feed?
When did they last? I've just feed every so often. It's not a everyday thing.
Do you feel their hunger?
Yes, I do.
Can they receive sustenance from anything other than living tissue?
If it's dead meat, whatever, yes, I would assume so. As long as it's meat.
Dead but like fresh.
Cooking. Yes. And they do as I say. They haven't gone on a rampage killing little children. They've just killed with small animals.
Again, the things you say that are meant to be comforting.
I do apologize.
It seems as though the alien sensibility has already become evident. Clearly, if we thought that they had been on a rampage eating small children, we would not be having a polite conversation. But burning you on the tallest pyre we could manage with yak dung.
Well, sure.
Do they behave you more readily when they are well fed or when they are hungry and weakened?
They behave better when they're fed. They are currently well fed.
How are they currently well fed? There have been no cats since we left Calcutta.
Just from bits and bobs. Maybe a bird or whatever.
You're not sure?
Birds. Out of character, I don't know, but in character, probably birds.
Birds. So, Dr. Long, Ms. Thomas?
I think you're the tiebreaker, Baxter.
Not a position I would have put myself in. Good heavens. I accept, Dr. Augustine, that you mean what you say and that you will follow us whether or not you are welcome. And so I think that we are all safer if we welcome you, make provisions for the care and feeding of your parasite, and you accept a degree of supervision. Barring that willingness to be supervised, I think you'll have to understand that we could not be expected to trust you. And on that note, I think we should see your face.
Well, you have been the one who has wanted to see it the most, so I'd rather just be on one person.
Be careful. Yes, he said that.
Do you have some reason to believe that it has an ill effect? Do you startle the cats with your black eyes before you consume them?
I startle myself.
That's actually the most comforting thing you've said yet.
So we'll all look away.
So only Baxter looks into Arlo's face?
Mm-hmm. I look too. I look away, but I'm looking.
Okay. Anyone who does look at Arlo as he removes his hat, please give me a sand roll.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
A 32. I am fortunate.
Okay, that is a fail.
It's not terrible. A pass is lose 0, a fail is lose 1, as you see Arlo with these just black orbs for eyes, and the skin around his eyes is looking very dry and brittle.
Oh, Arlo.
Any indication of a mottled flesh peeking out around that?
No, the brittleness would have to be like peeled away, and it hasn't been.
And the eye is still human shaped.
It's still human shaped. It's just completely black, and he can blink his eyelids, and it's just a black orb under his eyelids.
He did warn us. Yes, I think we should get you some dark glasses. It'll be less discomforting. But for now, the hat. And I appreciate the gesture of trust.
We'll if anybody asks, we could just say that he's got snow blindness and he needs to cover his eyes.
So a couple days later, Lazang says the caravan is ready. We are ready to strike out and head north.
Did we find him some sunglasses?
Yes. There was a Ranjan shop by the mall, and you were able to get him some sunglasses.
I brought it up because I did look it up. They've had sunglasses since the 1700s.
Yes, in Tibet, I'm sure.
Well,
the slit kind is pretty ancient.
Say that again.
I think the glass kind is modern, but the slit kind is old.
Oh yeah,
I think the Inuit had
from ancient times.
Yeah. So it'll be a glass. It'll be an eye covering that has just a slit in it. So. All right, so let's bring this episode to a close as Lazang has prepared the caravan, and the troop is ready to reunited after having this strange interaction with Dr. Augustine. You guys are reunited again and ready to trek northward.
Fantastic. Our players included Josh Harwood, Morgan Llewellyn, Holly Buteau, Stuart Lively, David Gasway, and myself, with John Hook as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.